Today I'm going to talk a little bit more about the backstory of the making of my movie, Mystic Journey to India. And you can read the full details of the backstory in my book, Mystic Journey to India, and you can go and watch the movie on Amazon Prime, and it's free if you are a Prime member. I'm going to show you some clips in a minute from the movie. Actually, some of the outtakes. It's this what you'll see today isn't actually in the movie. It's from the longer version of the movie. So those that follow my channel will get these little extras from time to time. So don't forget to click that little bell thing down there, because that will give you updates and you'll be able to see more clips later on. But yeah, we made this movie Mystic Journey to India. When those that know my books and know particularly my other book, Messages from the Universe, I explored the whole idea of the Nadi oracles, and I found the real texts. I found also mysterious oracles in India that you won't find on the internet. You can't go tracking these down. You have to go there to find these ones. And I found the ancient oracles that told me the whole history of my life, and told me to go to India and explore the ancient history of India, and while I was there to do the remedies to clear my karma. So those that read Mystic Journey to India and also read Messages from the Universe will know the backstory here, so I don't want to go into that too much. But one of the first places we went to was a place called Mahabalipuram. Now this is an absolutely fascinating place. Now I was there, it was only when we made Mystic Journey to India, there was basically just me and Simon Knight, my cameraman, and sound recordist and co-director and the rest of it. We were working together in the field with just the two of us. This whole idea had been put together by Louis Frost, a director in the UK, who had told us what we got to do, given us lots of tips about the way we had to make it. But we were all kind of working on the hoofs, and basically three of us made what was a movie that would normally taking a massive team. Michael Palin would have had to have a full team of people to do what we did, but we achieved something on a very similar level in some respects. I wouldn't claim it to be as high as that, but you know, we had a pretty high production standard there. Anyway, we stumbled upon Mahabalipuram almost by accident, actually. And while I was there, I used it as the opportunity to start to get to tune into India and the ancient Indian history. As you know from some of my other movies, I'm very interested in psychic archaeology, and I've worked with archaeologists and I've worked with museum curators and people that have good knowledge of ancient history, to see if I can sometimes delve into the past, just as some of the old archaeologists used to when they discovered Troy, when they were opening Tutankhamun's tombs and things. They would often use dowsers and spiritually open people to see if they could get some more clues about where to dig. Anyway, Mahabalipuram, you're going to see about in a moment, was for me an absolutely mind-opening place. I'd just before that been tuning into India and been doing that work with the psychometry that you may have seen in one of my other YouTubes, and I was now really beginning to spiritually open when I worked to India. I threw caution aside, because normally when you work as a medium you keep yourself closed down, but I opened and opened and opened and opened. You'll see other clips later on where we go to other sacred places where it has an effect upon me, and I thought I'll let my spiritual powers completely open here, completely vulnerable in many ways to the whole energy of India. And I tuned in to Mahabalipuram, and I didn't know anything about it because we actually found it by accident. We just happened to get dropped off by the taxi at the wrong place, stumbled upon Mahabalipuram, and we thought, well, we've got to film here, get the camera out, this is just such a beautiful place, and let's see what I can pick up. And it is a fascinating place. One of the people that's spoken a lot about it, which I didn't know at the time, was Graham Hancock. Now he's an archaeologist who talks about lost civilizations, particularly civilizations from thousands of years ago, pre-Ice Age civilizations, and talks about the Great Flood. Well, this was some of the stuff that I was picking up about in Mahabalipuram, and I was talking about all sorts of strange things that happened there, you know, and I was picking up the rituals and things, and we met a guide there who we asked, well, will you confirm or deny some of the things I'm picking up? And he went round with us and could act as our knowledge base, as it were. Now, Graham Hancock, you're going to see the clips in a moment, so don't worry. But I'm giving you a little bit of the backstory. Graham Hancock was very interested in this flooded idea, early floods. And I've since become very interested in this whole mystic journey thing. Opened me up to what were called the Siddha Yogi teachings. And I found a lot of other teachings within the oracles that I'd found and in the texts that I'd found in India, in the Tamil texts. And it was talking a lot about this idea of Kumari Kandam, which some people call Lemuria, which is that there was a great continent off the coast of India that stretched actually all the way to Madagascar in the ancient times, that sank. And even in some texts it talks about that, we have in Tibet, we have Mount Kailash where Shiva lives, but they say the Mount of Shiva was not actually originally there. It's on a direct line through some of the other sacred sites, through Mahabalipuram, and that will then point to the lost mountain of Shiva that was part of Kumari Kandam. So there's some interesting stuff that I don't think's out there, and I don't know if many people even know that. I don't even know Graham Hancock and people have explored that idea themselves, but this is in the text and it's very interesting. But Graham Hancock actually dived off the coast of Mahabalipuram, and in my book Mystic Journey I've written a bit about some of that, and he said, what did he say? He said he claimed there was submerged ruins that may date back to the last ice age. Now that's what I was saying. I said this place extends into the sea. This is only the tip of it, as it were. And so I didn't even have any idea about that at the time. But apparently there was temples far out to sea. And he said, Graham Hancock said, Mamallapuram, with its neglected legends of the 7 pagodas and the flooded city of Bali, lies at 12.37 degrees north and would have been at least 50 kilometres from the sea at the last glacial maximum. The last glacial maximum was in about 24,500 BCE. And that's a long time ago, isn't it? This is what I was seeing when I did my psychometry on the granite walls. So I talk about it in my book, and a little bit more detail about it. But Graham Hancock was also absolutely fascinated by this place. Now he's a fully trained archaeologist, a fantastic person who you should read. The book, he mentions it in, I think, if I can find a clip. Yeah, I've lost my place, but it's in his books there, and he's a fascinating man with some fascinating ideas that seem to be, when we did this, I seem to be picking up the same stuff as he had, but I was doing it psychically and he was doing it through investigative archaeology. Anyway, coming up now is our little part where I walk around Mahabalipuram and connect with it. The more details about it are also in the backstory in my books, in my Mystic Journey to India. Again, I'll plug it again to you. Yeah, but there it is, Mystic Journey to India, the book and the movie. Remember, you can see the full thing on Amazon Prime. And coming up is this Mahabalipuram. So here we go. Here's the clip.
I said to the taxi driver, take us to a local village so I can just have a look at a few sort of simple shops and things like that. And he don't mention that there's some great prehistoric temple or something en route. So, every village seems to have some incredible things attached to it. I'm going to have to take a look at this. Before I start my quest and perform the remedies to clear my past life karma, I visit the holy ruins of Mahabalipuram to try a bit more psychometry on the ruins and make a prayer to the Indian elephant god Ganesha. Mahabalipuram is an extraordinary ancient temple complex that was carved out of solid rock and granite. Soon I will be travelling southern India to perform rituals and puja, some of the same rituals that were performed here thousands of years ago. So this was a cave originally, and it's been carved from the cave into a temple.
Yes.
So this would have all these stones would have stood here centuries and centuries and centuries.
1400 years old. The Pallava time making.
And this is the one they carved out of the solid rock.
Yes.
To make the temple.
Golden time, Krishna buttermilk tank. Yes.
Buttermilk.
We are making butter, put butter ball. Story.
Wow, they did it on a big scale, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they make masses of butter,
yes.
And then that's used for blessing or
butter eat.
for eating. So it is actually practical.
Yeah.
So they cut the fires over this way,
Yes.
and this is for the actual...
Yes,
The psychometry I tried out earlier seems to be still with me, as I seem connected to the subtle energies and know the history of this place before our guide tells us anything. So this is Vishnu,
Vishnu.
and the next one will
Shiva.
be Shiva. So Vishnu and Shiva, and that will be Brahman?
Yes.
So why is Brahman not in the middle then?
This is always Shiva, the first.
Yeah?
Vishnu, God of the predator.
Wow. They did things on scale, didn't
Yeah.
they? I mean, that is like a lorry full
Yeah.
of butter, isn't it? To put on the lingam.
Yeah.
They would put, I presume it would all come, be put and then be pouring all down here.
This is a different article here.
The Nadi leaves had prescribed a list of ancient temples I am to visit and perform rituals. This complex is seeping with the energy of the past and is a starting point where I can take in the wonders of India's past and also seek a blessing for a successful journey. I believe in Hinduism that the first creation had an elephant holding the world up.
Yeah.
So would that be like that?
Yes, correct.
This where I live, near where I live, there's a place called Stonehenge.
Yeah, Stone.
And this reminds me of Stonehenge, you know, that different type of rock, but
Yeah.
the same feeling, you know, of a place of worship from natural stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah. This part of the temple complex is where they used to do the oms. I can't resist this, I've got to do an om. I've got to do an om. Just as a Christian may pray to St. Christopher before starting a journey, the god Ganesha represents the aspect of the one universal God that clears the obstacles in the path. I have no problem with praying to an elephant-headed god, as I believe it's the same one God that can be found in all religions, but she comes in many forms. This is a divine symbolic act to clear my path.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. That was a fascinating place, that Mahabalipuram. It was the start of our incredible adventure, our mystic journey to India. Obviously, go and see the movie on Amazon Prime if you like, if you enjoy this. And also, you know, I kind of have this thing with psychic archaeology because I'm very, very interested in it. Very interested in those things that come to us from the very, very distant past. You know, what was there in the ancient times? I'm going to talk a lot more about these things. I'll show you some more clips later on from Mystic Journey and the outtakes from Mystic Journey as well. I'm also going to talk a lot more about the Ramayana and some of the stuff from that, because there are hidden teachings in that many people don't know about. These are the things that have come through what we call the Jiva Nadi. Now this is a Nadi that has not got words written on it. This is the blank Nadi that speaks to us with letters of light that appear on the Nadi leaf. So there's messages come through from that. Interesting to me because I'm so interested in the distant past of spirituality and the things that were there from centuries and centuries ago, perhaps pre-Ice Age, like Graham Hancock thinks. This is why the Nadis gave me the name. They gave me this spiritual name that you see written up at the front of my videos and things, called Parameswaran. That Parameswaran is kind of a word that talks about, it really means like the ancient knowledge of Shiva. And it's absolutely apt because I'm very into the whole energy of Shiva, which I'll talk about as well sometime, and also into the ancient knowledge that was there centuries ago, the ancient Septarishis and the originators of these incredible texts that the Nadis were written, these messages that were given to us from ancient times to help us through these very difficult times that we're encountering now. And I feel that the ancients, they gave messages to help us now, and part of my work is to bring our awareness to these things and to show how these things sometimes, particularly like with Mahabalipuram, the energy's locked in there, and one day I feel we're going to unlock many, many secrets from these ancient places. Anyway, please follow this channel, leave your comments, share the videos please, so that more people get to know about us, and thank you for joining me. See you next time.
I have discovered a secret oracle in India that has on it the name of my mother, the name of my father, my name, my brother's name, my wife's name, all the details about my life from the moment I was born and right into the future. And it even tells me the time of my death. And to access this oracle, all it needed was my thumbprint. I'm here in India on my first mystic journey. In the UK and USA, Jane and I are known as the most psychic couple on the planet.
I really enjoyed the reading with Craig because he hit some real accuracies about my father and our relationship.
I've been a psychic medium for years. We have both had a fruitful life and seen many mystical things, but my trip to India has certainly opened even my eyes. As psychics, we have both been invited to do many TV shows about the paranormal, but what I'm about to experience in India is absolutely astonishing. So astonishing that even my wife Jane couldn't get her head round it. I have come to India to visit its temples and to do its rituals and change my fate. Everything the Oracle has told me about my life so far is astonishing. What it has to say is so mind-boggling that I feel compelled to make this crazy journey in order to undertake the magical remedies it prescribes. I want to find out if these Nadi leaves are a myth or the real thing. And if so, maybe I can uncover their secrets and discover if they can help other people too. On this journey, I meet a holy man who sleeps in a raging fire and is claimed will live for hundreds of years. This Siddhi yogi never eats, lives in a cave, and few people ever get to meet him. I am guided by two astrologers that help me clear my karma and explain to me the rituals that I must undertake. I am stunned by the beautiful landscapes and overwhelmed by the magical temples and mystic places. I love the people and the animals of India. I am visiting places where few Westerners ever go. It's a cultural shock and spiritual awakening. I feel an overwhelming inner transformation. Will I find the guiding light I need? My search takes me thousands of miles across India's breathtaking landscapes, and I see magnificent things. To clear my karma, the Oracle has told me to do charitable work, undertake magical rituals and remedies. This is the adventure of a lifetime. This is my mystic journey.